So with the recent episode of Gavv finally debuting Shoma's final form, we have officially hit the endgame of Gavv. So I figure with the end so close, we could try to predict which rider will face off against which stomach family member, and who will be the final boss. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So right off the bat, we gotta start with Shoma. Now I see Shoma facing off against Jeep because, well, the preview of the next episode literally shows him taking him on. Now what I don't expect is for Jeep to win this one. I mean, bro was literally struggling against Cake King, and the only reason he survived was because his sister pushed him out of the way. However, for the fight in episode 37, I do see Jeep getting away and returning to the GRANUTE world. And there he could potentially get an upgrade of some sort. And if you paid attention to any of the leaks in the last couple of months, you would know that we have another form for Bitter Gavv, being Baki Baki Sticks, and that is yet to show up. So I fully believe that Jeep will be the next host for Bitter Gavv. And given how Jeep was at the end of episode 36, I fully believe that this will be a completely voluntary thing. I mean, he saw two of his siblings get killed right in front of him. He will want this power up. Now these two could go hand to hand for a couple of episodes or two before we ultimately see the defeat of Jeep. But with this defeat, we will definitely see Lizelle going after Shoma. But the weird thing about Lizelle is that she doesn't have any known fighting ability. She kinda just sicks her butler onto people and then kinda manipulates the situation via threats. However, we do know that she is strong given that she was able to knock back Shoma's Gurkan form and Lakia's Pudding Custom form. But I 100% believe that Shoma and her will fight just because they are literally polar opposites. One being total chaos and the other wanting to protect both humans and GRANUTEs. And I personally think at first she will be using her butlers. But as soon as they're all knocked out, she'll be forced to fight. So the riders will deal with her until her defeat. However, I don't see her going down in just one fight. But I also believe that there's a slim chance we get to see the riders and the stomachs join forces, with Grotta temporarily helping them out. Reason being, at this point she and Nierve would be the only stomachs remaining that we know of. And in her mind, Lizelle is the reason why Jeep is dead, and Nierve is working with Bosca, so I don't really see a reason as of this moment for him to just outright defect from them. I mean, he literally said that he left the stomachs because his research needed funding, so he isn't just gonna go and kill his funder's daughter. So this would basically leave Grotta as the only stomach family member that has a reason to destroy Lizelle. And they're already off on a bad foot given how she last saw Jeep. But in the end, they could have a full-on Grotta versus Lizelle fight, which honestly, I would love to see a GRANUTE versus GRANUTE fight. Though I do lean on this being a one-on-one fight between Shoma and Lizelle since they are polar opposites. But with this, we head into Hanto, which I believe Hanto has a toss-up between two opponents. Obviously from the preview, we see that Hanto is going to finally meet the GRANUTE that kidnapped his mom. But this guy seems like he's already settled down, given up the dark treats, and had a kid. So I'd actually be surprised if he ends up being a GRANUTE that Hanto takes down. I also see this as more of a character arc for Hanto, so that he could understand that GRANUTEs were just a pawn in the stomach's grand scheme, and some are in fact redeemable. In a way, this guy will act as a reformed drug user, which dark treats are essentially just an allegory to drugs, just like the Gaia memories were for dopants. Which strangely enough, I don't remember Double ever touching upon a reformed Gaia memory user, so I'd love to see this. Now you could argue that this is another GRANUTE like GRANUTE Rojo, but I just don't see this being a similar situation. Like, why would they repeat this plotline? So with this, I believe that Hanto will get his revenge by taking out a stomach family member. And as of this moment, there's two opponents that come to mind, Nierve or Grotta. As for Grotta, I think the only real evidence that this could happen is that he never got a proper rematch against her. She was literally his second fight after becoming a rider, and bro got his ass handed to him. Not that that's anything new. I think it would be insane if he got his revenge in a one-on-one fight against her. However, there's just way more likelihood that Hanto will go against Nierve. I mean, Nierve is literally the perfect opponent for Hanto. He believes that Hanto is a weakling and never understood the fascination Suga had with him. And funny enough, we've never actually seen Nierve fight. Hell, we haven't even seen his full GRANUTE form. There has always been someone there fighting for him. Now, I fully believe that there has to be a reason for this. So what if this entire time, this dude has been experimenting on himself to create the ultimate life form, making him the most broken ability-wise of the stomachs? However, there's one aspect of Nierve that I haven't brought up, being Suga. The last person to ever see Suga was in fact Nierve, and in this conversation, he said that he would carry on Suga's research. So I fully believe that Nierve took Suga back to the GRANUTE world to use him as a test subject to create another Bitter Gavv. And hell, I'm pretty sure there's another Bitter Gavv form already leaked. So the possibility of Suga returning as a GRANUTE human hybrid would just make sense. And it would also mean that Nierve was able to do something that Suga was never able to do. Give him a body that could compare to a GRANUTE. And I mean, we literally saw him cook himself via the baked magnum. I mean, there just isn't a reason why they would bring that up. Also, there's just a bunch of stuff that we never got clarification on with Suga. The baby photos and clothes, the reason why he didn't want the Shoma clones to call him dad, and Project K. So I really just don't believe that this is the end of Suga. And we never really got a redeemable villain unless you count Lakia. So why not make it Suga? So that's why I believe that Hanto and Suga will take on Nierve. And it would be poetic for Hanto to destroy the person who thought he was literally boring and not even a threat. Having a basic human destroy him that he underestimated and viewed as less than him would just be amazing. And even having his own creation, Suga helping destroy him would just be the icing on the cake. Also, if Hanto doesn't take down at least one stomach member, he would have literally just been there to take down GRANUTE fodder and Suga. So please, John Toei, let my boy prove his worth by taking down Nierve. But moving on to Lakia, I could see him taking on both Grotta or Nierve. But just like Hanto, I find one to be more poetic than the other. So starting with Nierve, the only way I see Nierve being his final opponent is just the simple fact of taking out my power's creator. Nierve being the creator of the Vram system alongside the Gochizos. And seeing that Lakia's driver is currently broken and he's going to eventually get a power up from Dente alongside his driver being repaired, I really don't see a point in him needing to keep Nierve around. I mean, really, Dente is working on creating an antidote for his toxins, fixing his driver, and possibly creating a power up for him. So him taking out a creator he really just doesn't need anymore would make sense. However, I see Grotta being his final opponent more than Nierve. Reason being, I fully believe that she either killed or orchestrated Komel's death. Like, come on guys, you cannot tell me you don't believe that Grotta's side didn't kill Komel. I mean, I guess really anyone with a sword could, but having it be Grotta would just make sense. Reason being, the two-parter that Lakia and Shoma went to the GRANUTE world, they met Grotta, and she used the scythe against Lakia. And this is the very same two-parter we received Komel's flashback. And Grotta not remembering a no-name GRANUTE part-timer makes sense. I mean, Komel is literally nothing to her. He's just a pawn in their big scheme. Plus, Nierve already confirmed he knew of Komel and knew what happened to him, while Grotta just said she didn't care who he was. I feel that would give Lakia more stakes to want to kill Grotta, as she thinks of his brother as something not even worth caring about. Also, the two of them already fought once, but Shoma and him swapped mid-fight, so we never really got to see the two fight one-on-one. But let me know which sibling you see facing which rider. But as for the final fights, I believe that Bosco will be the first major boss. And I mean, the guy is going to make his move into the human world eventually. They just leaked his human form, so at some point, it's going to happen. It's just when. Now this guy is 100% calling all the shots right now for the presses and everything. So I foresee him asking Nierve to possibly do some experiments on him to make him more of a threat. And I fully believe that Shoma will kill Lae'zel. Thus, Shoma will be public enemy number 1 for him. So I see all 3 riders taking on Bosco at once. But once he's weakened and caught off guard, Rango will swoop in and take him out, thus taking his throne. Now you might be saying Rango is dead. And while yes, there was an explosion, there was never a body nor even a trace of a body. Also, Shoma literally gave Rango a permanent scar across his eye. There was no need for Shoma to give him a scar if all they were going to do with Rango was just kill him off. Unless Shoma's just built like that. So I fully believe that Rango will be the final boss of GAVV. He's the one who killed Shoma's mom, he's the one who killed Hanto's mom, and he's technically the one who killed Lakia's brother. They all have beef with Rango, and they all want their revenge. Now I don't really know how much stronger Rango would be here, given that he would have to be doing training in secret, or secretly being experimented on by his brother. But nonetheless, Rango coming back as the final boss would just make sense given how Reiwa works with these kinds of characters. Soul was taken down by Ace, then he came back. Gurion came back after facing Hotaro, and there's plenty of more examples of this. So having Rango show back up again as the final boss would just make sense. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree with my predictions or do you disagree with me? Let me know. But while you're down there, go ahead and smash the like button down below and subscribe with notifications on. And with that, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I'm FalPlays, and I'm out. Peace.